Hi everyone. It's been a while since I've talked about the stuff going on in the world at large. Things like USAID, the thousands of children dying, and the food rotting in the warehouses, and all of the other terrible things going on, like what's happening in the CDC, for example, what happened to the National Weather Service, and therefore the children that died in Texas. It's just thing after thing after thing, and it's overwhelming. And, me being from the Middle East, I mean, everything happening in Gaza is so incredibly upsetting. And being from that area of the world, it's even more upsetting for me. And so I just wanted to come on with you guys and talk about a little bit about how I've been trying to stay sane with all of that stuff happening. One of the things I've had to do is I've had to not inform myself of everything that happens, especially in Gaza, which is horrible because I feel like I am not holding space for the people suffering. But I got to the point where I physically could not handle the amount of pain I was feeling due to watching the suffering. So I have had to not watch a lot of the news and other things. Another thing that I've been doing a lot, we've been so fortunate here on the East Coast that through the month of August, which is usually in the 90s and humid, it's been in the 70s and gorgeous. So when I'm up to it, I go outside, I interact with the plants, I touch the trees, I make up plates for the chickens, I put out scraps for the bunnies. I just try to get really, really small. Like all the problems of the world are so big, right? All the people suffering and all this bad stuff, it's all so big. So I just try to get really, really small and really, really specific. So I look around my particular yard. What can I do in my yard to make it better for the animals around me? What can I do to improve the life of somebody who needs it? And I'm pretty limited in what I can do right now. But even when I'm not feeling well and I'm lying in bed, if I feel up to looking at YouTube videos or YouTube shorts, what I try to do is I try to find like the shorts and videos from people and channels that nobody watches yet, but they're really good. I found a bunch this morning because what I did was I found like a music that I liked, and then I looked at all the shorts with that music in it, and I found a whole bunch of people that had made these beautiful shorts with nature in them and and it spent a lot of time and energy, and maybe they had like 30 views or something. And it's because I guess if YouTube, like I put out one with my dog in it and it got a bunch of views right away, like 1,000 in an hour. So I thought it was going to go viral, but that still wasn't enough. Like you've got they give it like an hour where they show it everywhere. And if you don't get like a lot of views in that hour, it just goes way down and it doesn't get shown again. So what I do is I try to find these videos and put nice comments and tell the people how much I appreciated the short that they made or the video that they made or something like that. And that's something that I'm doing from my bed, not getting up, not doing anything. But 9 times out of 10, I get a reply back saying, thank you so much for the encouragement, etc., etc. And so I know by that little thing, I'm just putting a little bit of positivity out in the world. So for me right now, I'm having to keep it really, really small and focused. I'm having to spend like time outside, time in my yard, time in nature. Um, I have to use doing things with my hands. Like I talked about in previous videos, doing the arts and crafts work can really help manage these feelings when we're feeling the empathy and the struggle of others. Just getting ourselves focused on creating something, focused on improving somebody's life, even if it's just through a comment. Um, yeah, just focusing on sending out love. So I just wanted to share that with you guys because I haven't really talked about how I've, been struggling or dealing with things. A lot, the Gaza stuff, USAID stuff, it hits me really hard. Especially death of children can hit me extremely hard. And I am having a hard time with it, but I'm trying to focus and keep my focus on things like it's like, when you wash the dishes, focused on getting the dishes clean, being in the moment, focusing on what I can do in this moment, and trying not to think about other things that I unfortunately can't control. So I guess that's all. The other thing that I wanted to share with you was about something I talked about a couple videos ago, where I talked a lot about my feelings and I shared a lot on the video, and I got some feedback from the comments about how healthy and how good that is. And I'm going to keep doing that on the videos because I've realized something. I realized I grew up in an atmosphere where I could not talk about my feelings, where my feelings have been pretty much completely invalidated. And a lot of the times it was because the things that I was talking about were very uncomfortable. Being abused at a young age, you need to process it and talk about it, but nobody wants to bring it up. So one thing that, I don't know if anyone's in this situation, but the best thing that you can do for a child who's gone through abuse is talk to them about it, or tell them that they can talk to you about it whenever they want, and really listen to them. It's a shame because I've tried to reach out and talk to some of my wider family about, my struggles with everything going on with the Epstein files, especially. It's like things like sort of stacked up. The Epstein file thing came out right when my dad was trying to get out of prison and all that. And, all the stuff coming back up about Trump again, which I knew from way back that he was a child molester, at least of, there's child molesters and child molesters, I found out. In dealing with the system, there are some people that believe child molestation only applies if the girl hasn't really reached puberty or isn't like 13 or something. There are actually a lot of people out there that believe that if a girl is 13 or older, that's not child molestation, as sick as that is. So that's what they call child molestation in quotes. So he's a child molester in quotes, what I think is a true child molester. I don't think there's any difference because, there is a little bit of a difference in the effect on the child. I think the adult should be treated equally, and it should be treated as the same criminal offense. Unfortunately, if a child is under 7 years old when this happens to them, it can do even more serious harm because they have not fully wired their brain yet. and they're still taking things in directly into their subconscious mind and making programs. So, which unfortunately was in my case. So I've had to do more extensive work to rewrite those programs in addition to the trauma I suffered when I lived with him for 6 months and had nobody to protect me against him. So I had to fight back for 6 months. That was hard too, but it's two different types of, I was two different people at the time. Anyway, probably getting into more details than I need to, but in both cases, when I was little though, especially, I needed to talk. So don't ever think by bringing it up to the little ones that you're doing a bad thing. Also, if any of your children ever bring anything up to you, even just once, take it very seriously. I mean, like, not, of course you're going to take it seriously if they say something like, so-and-so, like, touched me or something like that. But a child may be afraid to say that. So they may come up and say just something like a little bit to, like, see how you'll react to it, and then, like, not say any more. And that's why I'm saying this. Like, they might say something like, well, I didn't feel so comfortable with so-and-so. Or if they say something like, oh, I don't really like it when Uncle so-and-so hugs me or something like that. You need to listen to it. And you need to talk to the child about it. Okay, well, what comes up with your feelings when, you get the hug from Uncle so-and-so? Let's talk about that, you know? So often it is not talked about, and it was never talked about with me. I came back very, very psychologically damaged, and nothing was done to help me to get that bridge back to normal society, I had just been fighting off my father's sexual approaches for 6 months, and then I had to go right back into normal society and be able to accept hugs from uncles easily, It just wasn't right. It wasn't fair to me, and I'm hoping that in me making these videos, someone maybe will see what I say and they'll do better with their kids. So, probably a wasted video on you guys because you're all so awesome, but maybe someone will see this someday that needs to. I love you all so very much. I appreciate you all, and I'm sorry if I, brought up difficult topics, but I just want to put out there the information that I want people to have. Because I just saw a video this morning where a parent was saying, a child said something to them and they said, oh, they just didn't realize it was that serious, So that's why this all came up. Anyway, sorry for rambling. I love you all. Under 15, yay.